Hi, my wonderful sweet babies. It's Destined Choice, and you're listening to my podcast, Time Out with Choice. Now, for today's podcast, I wanted to get on here and speak about the infamous situation regarding Dr. Kizzy Corbett. Now, if you guys haven't heard of Dr. Kizzy Corbett, basically, a lot of people are praising her for being black girl magic, and yes, black women save the world, and black women save society, and black women save our democracy. To make a long story short, she's one of the leading doctors for the COVID-19 vaccine. So a lot of people are praising her because a lot of people are saying, oh wow, this is a huge imprint, this is a huge blueprint. Maybe this vaccine is safe after all.
She is being praised as one of the lead scientists behind Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. Her name, Dr. Kizzy Corbett, and she is from here in the Triangle. I talked with her former professor about her time at UNC and the impact she is having. By now, you may recognize her.
I was on Kizzy's thesis committee, and I taught her in class. It was clear from early on when she started at UNC, she had the potential to make a real impact.
Mark Heisey is a professor of genetics at UNC School of Medicine. He taught and worked with Kizzy Corbett, one of the National Institutes of Health's leading scientists behind the government's search for a vaccine. The Hillsborough native is part of a team that worked with Moderna, the pharmaceutical company that developed one of the two vaccines.
She's a black woman. And she's young as well, only 34 years old. When you see that representation, what does that do for the future of the vaccine?
I think that's incredibly important. It'd be one thing for somebody like myself to say, everybody should take the vaccine, which I truly believe, so there's a trust gap there. So I think we can't underestimate the impact that somebody like Kizzy is having on the acceptance of the vaccine across all communities.
Breaking news for the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. I really think you should hear this. This lady right here, Dr. Kizzy Corbett, has been on the front lines. An African-American woman helped create a 94 to 95% effective COVID vaccine. Yes, an African-American woman once again is saving the day for many people and saving many lives per usual. Just pause right here to read about her a little bit, okay? If you ain't never heard about her, go ahead and Google her, baby, because this woman, that woman right there, this black melanated woman, this queen right here, had all the brains to help save many lives and more lives to come.
And she's also getting dragged as well by other black people, because she's being dragged mainly because a lot of people feel as though that she's selling out minorities in the black community, specifically because she's pushing this whole vaccination shit, this whole vaccination agenda.
And today we are going to be talking about how Dr. Kizmizika is a big fat mammy bed wench coon, all of that. Fuck that bitch. And I know some of y'all gonna be in the comments talking about, oh, disrespecting black women, don't call her a bitch. Fuck out of here. That bitch disrespected us. She's the house nigga. She is the one who shucks and jive. Well, shit, I could say suck too, white daddy, since she want a white man so fucking bad. I mean, Dr. Kizmizika, she wasn't gonna stop till she got her some white dick. It's like really a sickness. But Dr. Kizmizika should be blacklisted. I don't want shit from this woman.
And realistically, let me be honest, I know a lot of y'all are saying, I'm not taking that vaccine, I'm not taking that shit. Bitch, you're taking it. And your kids are taking it too. And let me tell you why. You're gonna take it because the government isn't gonna force it on you, but these companies will. There's a lot of people who are fearmongered and scared of the virus, and they're more than likely going to say, I'm not going to get on the airplane anymore because of this virus. I'm not going to do this because of this virus. I'm not going to do it because of this virus. And that's going to pressure companies to be like, okay, fine, you know what? Because we don't want to lose money, everyone has to get involved. American Airlines, Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Canada Airlines, all these airlines are going to get involved just to push it. And then it's going to start with the airlines, then it's going to start with the restaurants, then it's going to start with the grocery stores. After the grocery stores, it's going to start with schools. It's going to start with schools, then it's going to start with your job. After it starts with your job, then it's going to start with government jobs. It's basically going to be forced on you by organizations, not by the government, but by organizations. Once organizations get involved, that's when everyone's going to get nervous, because organizations are pretty much the circle of life. They're the ones who make the world go round, right along with us as the consumers who help support these people, right? So basically, one of the doctors, Dr. Kizzy Corbett, aka Dr. Kizzy, is basically going on a huge tour, going on multiple press runs, multiple black platforms, promoting this, usage of the vaccine. Because a lot of people, especially politicians and even doctors and the media, is pimping out her skin color just as a way to push minorities to get the vaccine. And I noticed that they're pushing her as, yes, a black woman produced it. And the reason why it's being pushed so much, because if y'all didn't know, Dr. Fauci, who is actually the head scientist of America, is basically trying to let the world know, niggas, it's okay to take it because I got another nigga to help create it. So take this shit so we can move on.
Disease and almost 100% efficacy against serious disease that has shown to be clearly safe. That vaccine was actually developed in my institute's Vaccine Research Center by a team of scientists led by Dr. Barney Graham and his close colleague, Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, or Kizzy Corbett. Kizzy is an African-American scientist who is right at the forefront of the development of the vaccine. So the first thing you might want to say to my African-American brothers and sisters is that the vaccine that you're going to be taking was developed by an African-American woman. And that is just a fact. I mean, that is a fact. And I think that's some of the things that people don't fully appreciate.
And the reason why Dr. Fauci and all these scientists and all these politicians think black people are so stupid is because of the simple fact of we voted for Joe Biden just because he had a black person as his VP. And we voted for Obama twice just because Obama was black. Meanwhile, Obama ain't do shit for black people. And I know people are going to be like, well, Obama couldn't do nothing. What could he have done? Obama could have done a lot of shit. He could have helped with the wealth gap. Obama could have helped with holding police officers accountable. Because right now, fast forward from 2012 to now we're looking at Joe Biden to hold the police officers accountable for doing fuck shit. But we tried to do it with Obama, but Obama got away with not doing shit. Obama didn't really do much. Like, if police brutality was such a big deal to Obama would have made sure he did a whole bunch of shit about it in the long run. And people always say things like, well, that's because Obama had an office full of Republicans, and Republicans are bigots, they're this and this and that. If that's the case, then bitch, why the fuck was Obama able to give the LGBT community the right to get married? Why was he able to push transgenders to have their own bathroom? Why was he able to get undocumented immigrants ways to maneuver around immigration laws so that way they can get around? Why was he pushing for undocumented immigrants to get free this, free healthcare, free this, free that? So he couldn't do nothing for the niggas? I'm just saying, it's real shit, but it's hard for people to swallow. Obama didn't do shit for black people, so I'm not trusting this motherfucker right here, Dr. Kizzy Corbett, because for all we know, this bitch could be working for the damn white man, and she could be trying to kill all the black people, just like Obama. And you guys know how I feel about Obama, but that's another video, another podcast, so on and so forth. But just because she's black, I'm not going to feel compelled to take the vaccine. And I feel what Dr. Fauci said when he was like, my black African-American brothers and sisters. That alone pissed me off because I just saw it as a, wow, you really think black people are stupid? And overall, statistically, a lot of people of color in general are very opposed to the vaccine because, for one, it's rushed. Everyone knows this. It's rushed. It's rushed because, according to politicians, we have the best scientists in the world. But no, it's rushed. And one thing that also took me and a lot of other minorities back about the vax is the fact that for most vaccinations, they put a small trace of the virus in it so that way your body could build immunity to it, right? So for the chickenpox, for yellow flu, for the Zika virus, a lot of that stuff, when you get the vaccine for it, they put a small dosage in the vaccine, so that way when they inject it in you, your body's used to a small percentage, so that way they can like muscle up and get ready for the next dose that comes in if any virus ever infiltrates you. That's why a lot of you guys watching this have never gotten chickenpox. Only if you grew up like in the 90s, maybe you got chickenpox. But most of us who grew up like a little bit after the 90s or like in the late 90s, a lot of us never got chickenpox because at a young age we all got the vaccine for it. Right? They're not going to put any trace of COVID in the actual COVID vaccine. And I'm sorry that I'm like taken back by this, but I think that's very fucking weird that if you look at the ingredients, there's no trace of COVID in the actual vaccine. And that alone is a little bit fishy and tells me that society needs to be doing a lot of questioning, because this is not normal at all. Then the CDC reported, we also don't know yet if a person who got the vaccine can still spread corona if they come in contact with it. That's why vaccinated people still need to wear masks until researchers can study this more. Wow. So seeing all this shit, it just has me like, look, I'm not going to stick to my herbal remedies. And every time you say you're going to stick to your herbal remedies, people look at you like you're just this stupid ass hippie. And I also want to mention the fact that Dr. Corbett had the audacity to bash natural medicine when somebody brought up the possibilities and the outcomes of it. And this is basically what she had to say. Just listen closely.
You know, I see these things. There's black seed oil, all of these different things that people have really come up with by way of, you know, digging really deep into the literature and trying to find different ways that are holistically able to prevent infection. And yeah, some of these things might make you feel better if you do get infected, you know, soothe your cough and sore throat, etc. But preventing infection, nothing has been proven to do that as of today, except for the vaccines that have shown efficacy. But big pharma and pharmaceutical companies are literally a cult. They're literally a cult. They're a cult to the point where there's actual people who would say, you need to go to the doctor because it isn't this and that. First of all, bitch, I don't got to go to the doctor for shit, because my ancestors found hundreds and thousands of ways to prevent myself from being infiltrated and infected by these motherfucking viruses here. So, yeah. Nice try, bitch, but just because y'all got a black woman who's trying to, you know, produce this vaccine, is helping to create it, that doesn't mean that that automatically should speak to me. Which I understand why they're doing it, because they know that people of color love seeing people who look like them. That's why we have dumbass celebrities like Oprah Winfrey, who claims she speaks for the black community, but along with people like Diddy who speak for the black community. Meanwhile, they're all evil and they're all attached to pedophiles in the Hollywood industry and the entertainment industry. But that's another video. But overall, just because someone's black or just because someone shares the same skin color as you, comes from the same nationality as you, that doesn't mean they have your best interests at all, really. And the pandering just gets fucking worse. Y'all would not believe this shit. They had an actual black female nurse literally give a vaccine to a black woman patient. The audacity for them to do this shit. The first ever vaccine is given to a black woman. If this doesn't scream agenda, I don't know what does. The audacity for them to do this shit and expect us to eat it up is insulting to me, in my personal opinion. And yeah, that's nice. That's nice. She's black. Okay, cool. Good for her. But I'm trying to figure out how the fuck this has anything to do with me. No, one thing that I don't like about politicians in the pharmaceutical industry is that they've always been racist. Yes, I said it. They've always been racist. They love to say things like, oh, Hispanics and Latinos are more susceptible to kidney failure, or African Americans and black people across the diaspora are more susceptible to liver failure and prostate cancer, but they never really tell us why. They're quick to tell white people that they need sunscreen to protect themselves, but they'll never tell us what we can do to protect ourselves to get away from all these illnesses and these kidney diseases and cancer diseases that are infiltrating our communities. And realistically, the food is in the medicine is really what we do. They love saying things like, oh, minorities are disproportionately affected. Poor minorities, they're disproportionately affected. But what can we do to stop ourselves from being affected other than wearing these masks that don't fucking work? And Mr. Joe Biden is a good example. He went on national television shouting out all the minorities for being disproportionately affected.
Agencies. They indicate that the first group of people that should get the vaccine, if and when it is available, are people at the greatest risk. And that includes everything from nursing homes to people with serious pre-existing conditions that would cause people to be in real trouble. A lot of those people happen to be black and brown.
Then Dr. Corbett said in an interview the long-term side effects that actually come with the vaccination, and then she tried to sugarcoat it to make it seem like it wasn't even that bad. And this is what she had to say.
Is the effect that you feel in your body after you initially get a vaccine, which if you've gotten a flu vaccine, for example, you might know that for like maybe a day after the flu vaccine, you might be tired. There's redness or maybe swelling at the site of the injection, etc. And so in about 10 or 15% of people, those types of reactions are happening also in the phase 3 clinical trial. And I think it is important for us to say to people that you might have those kinds of side effects when you get the vaccine, but reactogenicity is not harmful. In fact, what it means is that your body is doing exactly what you want it to do. It's causing a localized immune response so that you can build up this type of immunity that you need to protect you against COVID-19 disease. And then on the other side of things, which people are really concerned about, are long-term side effects. And that concern comes because of the fact that these vaccines have been developed in rapid and record speed. So we're about 9 months into the phase 1 clinical trial, and we've been following those people ever since that day. And there have been no indication of any long-term safety events. And there have been no indication of any long-term safety events. And there have been no indication of any long-term safety events.
Okay, so I played that shit like 3 times, and let me just say that this dummy has no idea what she's talking about. This shit came out in 8 months. How the fuck you know that there's no indicator? There's no indicator as far as you know. And if y'all thought that was bad, recently Dr. Kizzy went on a black YouTube channel to basically answer frequently asked questions that the black community had about the vaccine. And she was basically interviewed by several black leaders right along with her colleague. And basically, look what she and her colleague said when asked this question.
Okay, another question. Can you catch COVID-19 multiple times?
Yes.
Okay, no discussion on that one, huh? Yes. Question. Can you catch COVID-19 multiple times?
Yes.
Okay, COVID-19 multiple times?
Yes.
Okay, no discussion on that one, huh? Yes. Okay. Okay.
But proven, but is it likely? I think is the question as well.
I think now that they are mostly case reports, but you can, and that was the question.
You know, the food is really in the medicine, and that's why I lost so much fucking weight. Like for example, a lot of y'all used to call me fat as fuck, and I'm not gonna lie, I really was fat as fuck, and I used to deny it. I'd say they're just hating. They just want to tear me down. They just want to be negative. I'm not really fat. I'm not fat at all. Y'all just making stuff up. They're just trolling. They're just making jokes. But no, when I look back at old pictures and old videos, I really was a fat fucking piece of shit. I really was a fat fucking slob. I looked disgusting. I looked sick. I looked fat as shit. So I now understand that after changing up my diet, making certain lifestyle changes, losing weight, drinking more water and stuff like that, I now realize that's why I was constantly getting sick. That's why every year during flu season I would catch probably the flu, or I would get the sniffles and stuff like that. But when I started eating right, then I started realizing that the food is really in the medicine, and you really are what you eat. You know, that's not just some stupid ass term that people throw around. You really are what you eat. And then a lot of these fast food companies are actually aiding in the virus. You guys ever wonder why, you know, people like Travis Scott, Bad Bunny, all these celebrities are partnering with McDonald's. McDonald's is offering free food, or you get a free food, or you get a free food, or you get a snack box. Why is it that fast food companies are actually profiting and thriving, making billions? They're making way more than they've ever made within years. You know, their stores are still open. You know, they still have a whole bunch of employees working for them. They're employing tons of people because people are desperate for an extra income. So people are working these jobs. How are these multi-million-dollar fast food corporations still thriving and making so much money? And now they're coming up with snack boxes. They're coming up with discounted food prices. So much shit to get you to buy it. But their food is the one that produces mucus and wakes up the cancer cells in your bodies. Like, a lot of their fucking food is like carcinogen chemicals, like science experiments. Like, literally, if you looked up the shit that's in a Chick-fil-A chicken nugget, there's like 30 ingredients in a Chick-fil-A chicken nugget. How the fuck are there 30 ingredients in a Chick-fil-A chicken nugget? You would think it's just seasoning and chicken. No, it's lots of fake artificial salt, a lot of fake sweeteners to make it last long. That's why, you know, fast food doesn't expire, because they inject it with shit to make it last long. You know, it's little stuff like that. So that's why I'm not feeling this whole vaccination shit. And not to mention, you know, a big reason why a lot of minorities are shut down from this whole vaccination shit is the fact that, if y'all didn't know, Bill and Melinda Gates recently went viral for a video they did like 10 months ago when they were being interviewed and they were asked, who do they feel like should take the vaccine and what's the purpose of it? And they was like, minorities and black people. And I'm like,
they deserve to get this vaccine first. And from there, you want to do tiering in various countries to make sure your most vulnerable populations get it. In our country, that would be blacks and Native Americans, people with underlying health conditions.
Bitch! And they keep saying, oh, disproportionately affected. Not only that, you got Dr. Kizzy literally going on so many press runs being asked the most simplest questions and she can't even answer them. All I'm going to say is, you're taking the vaccine. I'm probably going to take it. They're going to force it on us. And if you don't take it, realistically, there's ways where you can avoid it. But overall, you can't run. You can't hide. They're going to find you and make you take your chip. So be ready for it. Be ready for the mark of the beast. Be ready for the chip. It is what it is. Who cares anyways? It's not that deep. All I'm going to say is, don't be the first round of guinea pigs to take that shit. Let the first round of people take it. Wait like 5, 6, 7, 8 months to a year. And then take it afterwards. You know, not only that, you know, even the mask. I'm sorry, but the mascaras, the mask, like a lot of these are worthless. Like, I know people are going to get very offended when I say that, because you might have a relative that suffered from it. But when it comes to the COVID shit, masks can't do nothing. COVID is so small that it can actually penetrate your mask, right? It can penetrate your mask because viruses are so small. Same thing with if you put a mask on, it won't do nothing, because when you look at the doctors and the medical health professionals that are working on these viruses, you ever notice that they're wearing fucking scuba gear? They literally look like astronauts whenever they're working with viruses. Why don't they push society to wear shit like that? Why are they telling us, oh, wear a mask, wear some goggles? No. They're not even telling us to wear goggles. They're just telling us to wear a mask. You know, Azalea Banks was actually talking about this the other day on her Instagram, and she was asking people, if these masks actually work, why don't they tell us to wear goggles as well? Why don't they tell us that? You know, some people wear like those splatter screens in the airports, but even those aren't, you know, completely effective at all. So it's little things like that that make me question this shit every fucking day. And all I honestly want, and I'm sure honestly all of you want, is to just go back to regular normalcy. Like, we just want to go back to normal society. We want to go back to work. We want to go to movie theaters. We want to go eat at restaurants. We want to go walking down the street without somebody harassing you, telling you, why aren't you wearing a mask? You know, just little stuff like that are just so fucking annoying. And we want to go back to regular society. And I'm afraid a lot of that isn't going to happen until the world governments get what the fuck they want, which is to control people. So, like I said, I find it funny how, I said this in my last video too, it's funny how the virus has like a 98% recovery rate, but yet the actual vaccine has like a 95% recovery rate. So I'm like, so more people are actually surviving than the people who actually took the vaccine, and more people are surviving than people who are actually dying from vaccines, and people who are actually being negatively, you know, affected by the virus, people who are like over the age of like 70 and up. So it's, you know, it's little things like that that make me really question, like, so we all got to take it, even though 97% of people who are, you know, infected by it are cured. You know, I just feel like that when it comes to COVID, it's like nothing new from the common flu, and I feel like people should take it seriously, but I feel like a lot of this has gone way too far. So I'm really scared for the fate of the world. What I'm going to say is this: invest your money in stocks, invest your money in cryptocurrencies. Let's see, buy some gold, or if you're not going to buy some gold, make sure you stock up on groceries, because I feel like by May, June or whatever, we're going to go into this massive fucking lockdown, and there's going to be no food. There's going to be a food shortage. There's going to be a lot of things that are going on. And it's funny because it's really weird how minorities are being pressured and forced to take the vaccines the most, and they're constantly throwing out the term minorities are disproportionately affected. But the statistics don't really add up. And then when it comes to the notion of, well, you can get COVID twice, there's no statistics that adequately add up of you being negatively affected by COVID if you get it a second time. It's little things like that. So like I said, this is really all about control. It's all about power, and we're all just ready for this shit to be over. Fuck Dr. Kizzy Corbett. Fuck her. I don't care for her. She's letting the media pimp out her skin color and use it for political gain, and she's sitting up there eating it up. She can't even answer basic questions, and she knows damn well that she's a fraud. I find it funny how she actually won a whole award too. If y'all didn't know, she actually won a whole American Goose Award, which is an award that they normally give to people who are like life saviors, people who contribute to society or whatever. And she got honored with an award, not the other 50 doctors that helped create the vaccination, but her. She won a whole award, the Goose Award, for helping and being the leading black woman in the vaccination, which I'm just like, what? That's so stupid. It actually reminds me of that girl. If y'all didn't know, the girl who recorded the whole George Floyd situation, she actually won a whole award. Like, she won a bravery award like a couple months ago. And I'm like, what the fuck? Bitch, like, what? No offense, but like, don't take this personal, but what the fuck did she even fucking do besides record a video? People record videos all the time. People record police brutality all the fucking time. Why the fuck did the woman who actually recorded the George Floyd incident get an award? Meanwhile, there were other people who actually recorded this shit. And a lot of them are white people. So y'all gave the only black woman who recorded it an award for bravery? How the fuck is that brave to just record an incident? It just doesn't make no sense. It's little stuff like that. It's the pandering for me. It's the fact that they're just using people's skin color. It's just the fact that they're trying to divide people. And like I said, they're trying to stir a racial war. I'm just not fucking with it at all. At the end of the day, 2020 is going to be over real soon. This is going to be one for the books. And like I said, be aware, open your third eye, and understand that a lot of the stuff that's going on is complete bullshit, and I'm not falling for it no more. And I'm going to be very prepared. I bought a 200 pack of toilet paper. I bought a lot of cleaning supplies. I threw my money in the stock market, and I'm prepared for what's to come in the future because, yeah, the world governments clearly showed y'all that they don't give two fucks about you when they told you, oh, here's $600. Literally. How the fuck Canada, Europe, and a lot of other countries got like $1,000 a month, but Americans ain't get shit. But yet we live in the best country in the world. Man, this is why I don't fuck with politics. They all evil and they're all pedophiles and fuck them. But yeah, that was up for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys gained something from all of this. And I hope everyone does their own research and understand that the government's trying to kill us. When I say the government's trying to kill us, I don't be just saying that shit for laughs and jokes. I be dead ass serious. I've been saying that for the past 3 years. But a lot of y'all be thinking I'm fucking joking. But that was up for this podcast. Please be sure to follow me on Instagram because I'm losing a lot of fucking followers because people can't fucking stand me. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Patreon for as low as $2. Make sure you guys email me if you guys have any questions. Thank you guys for streaming on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I really appreciate it a lot. My podcast is doing super duper well. A lot of y'all were sending me screenshots of my podcast, you know, about how it was your most listened to podcast throughout the year, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, please be sure to follow me on YouTube, subscribe to both my channels, and that's that. Timeout is over.